Living Emunah by Rabbi Asher, part 30, recognizing that it is really HaShem. HaShem exerts complete control over our lives, and there is nothing in existence that can prevent His will being done. Nevertheless, He hides behind the scenes in order to allow us free will. Since HaShem conceals His providence behind the veil of the natural order, we have the free will to view everything that happens as either a coincidental effect of nature or as a manifestation of the divine will. A man made a purchase at the grocery store and forgot to take his change. After he left, the cashier saw the money and said to the store owner, "Boss, look, he left $198 on the counter." The boss told him to put the money back into the register because it belongs to him. "Is that honest, boss?" the employee asked. The boss told him to be quiet and get back to work. Just at that moment, the boss accidentally knocked over a jar of pickles. The worker rushed over to clean the mess and picked up the broken jar. "Hey, boss, this jar cost $198. The worker said, "Maybe someone's trying to tell you something." "Well," the boss said, "I guess it's a good thing the guy left his change so that I wouldn't lose any money from the broken jar." Some people just don't get it and insist on viewing everything as coincidence rather than the hand of HaShem. HaShem hides behind the mask of nature, but He wants us to find Him. People who write down their personal stories of Hashgacha say that once they start to practice, they begin seeing HaShem more overly in their lives. They discuss these incidents over their Shabbat table and develop a keen awareness of Hashem's presence in their lives. Once we begin to look for Him, He makes Himself visible and emerge from behind the mask of nature. The Gemara in Ta'anit 25a relates a story of Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. He saw that his daughter was upset. She explained that she had inadvertently put vinegar in the Shabbat lamps instead of oil and had already lit the wicks. She was distraught because the wicks would surely go out and they would not have light for Shabbat. Rabbi Hanina said, "The one who said that oil shall burn can also make vinegar burn." Sure enough, the wick burned and remained burning throughout the entire Shabbat. Rabbi Hanina saw right through the nature and understood that Hashem is behind everything. And once he recognized Hashem, Hashem no longer hid behind the ordinary laws of nature. Many times in life we confront difficult problems and situations, and, as we should, we try to find ways to resolve them. We must remember, though, that while we have an obligation of histadlut, effort, to make a personal effort, ultimately everything is caused by Hashem, and therefore the primary histadlut is to speak to Him about the problem and seek His assistance. Often, this recognition alone can solve the problem. Once we see Hashem behind the well of nature, He will come out from behind the well and make Himself more visible. Tehillim 92 and verse 10 says, literally, this means, "For behold, your enemies, O Hashem, your enemies shall be annihilated." The Baal Shem Tov, however, explained this to mean that once we recognize that the enemies, the problems and hardships in life are brought about directly from Hashem, then they will then be eliminated. Once we recognize that the problems come from Hashem, He will step in to solve them. We must therefore train ourselves in this mood of thinking, in recognizing that everything that happens in our lives is caused by Hashem. And we do this through practice, by looking to see His involvement in our lives, by talking about it and by writing it down. And the more we see Him, the less He will be hidden.